While there are many evil things that people do, there are always a few things that seem to be for the better of everyone but aren't. Today we're going to be looking into how one man during the 1900s introduced an idea that still shapes the modern world today, but isn't all that good anymore. Today we're looking at how one man and his thoughts about clocks changed the world. During the World Wars, wanting to conserve energy was an important thing to any country that was fighting in it. Whether that energy be saved for resources elsewhere or less cost at power plants, every little bit counted towards the war efforts. So, it's no surprise that some legislators decided to try and propose, and eventually pass, some interesting laws. Daylight savings time is now only used by about 40% of the modern world, and for good riddance too. So who came up with the idea? While several sources point to many different people, Benjamin Franklin seems to be the one who first suggested the idea, with a guy named George Hudson, a New Zealand man, finally proposing it in 1895, so he could, quote, spend more time bug hunting. Either way, neither of them could foresee that we would still be using it to this day. While the ideas were first introduced by Hudson and Franklin, they were not popularized until World War I and later World War II. So what was the original purpose of daylight savings? Well, as mentioned, to save energy. Because machines during the World Wars were less energy efficient, legislators decided to try and take more advantage of the sun that was naturally available to them by taking an hour from the beginning of the day and placing it at the end. This would happen on a cycle following the winter and summer month. After the wars were finished, a lot of people decided to scrap daylight savings altogether, while some voted to stay with daylight savings time. While citygoers now can enjoy more sunlight after a long day's work, it seems that there are more problems with this idea than we first thought. So is it even worth it? Multiple studies in America have found that because of the technology we have now, changing to daylight savings saves less than 0.5% of energy. WebMD reports that daylight savings gives an increased risk of stroke as high as 8% in the first 2 days after daylight savings time. And people with cancer have an increased chance of 25% more risk of having a stroke. Not only that, but the change in our circadian rhythms can cause a whole host of other problems, such as an increased chance of heart attack, insomnia, car crashes, and an increased number of depressive episodes as high as 11%. So why do we keep doing daylight savings time? Honestly, the only good argument that I could find to support it is from the recreational gang of people, as it, quote, gives them an extra hour of play. Farmers, medical professionals, parents, and anyone who values their sleep all agree that daylight savings time is a bad idea, and all this came from one man and his ideas about his clock.